But Mr. Minister, if that is the foundation, if that is the reality, right, as you have very cogently laid out, how do we move forward in addressing what is absolutely necessary in that you need a political settlement to the...
Correct.
I have been... how do you get...
I have been consistent in this.
But you and I agree on the necessity for this. But the picture you have painted doesn't give too much of confidence that it is possible.
True. Now, for instance, as Minister of Constitutional Affairs, I am facing still, now for instance, the 17th Amendment, all the commissions have gone out of gear, and the Constitutional Council lost its term, and we are unable to resurrect the Constitutional Council for the simple reason that we are unable to bring out. Now, I as a minister, and I am heading the select committee, the 17th Amendment. I've been nominated by the entire House. So not only not as minister itself, but I am the chairman of the National Committee and Select Committee. I was trying for last so many months to bring about some consensus of opinion among the opposition and the government.
So what's preventing this consensus?
Petty politics. Now not only at that level. For instance, now Constitutional Council consists of 10 members, right? Now the Prime Minister, the President and the leader of the opposition have to nominate. Then 1/10 member should be nominated by the minority parties of the opposition, right? That is the constitutional provision. Now all others made nomination, but now the 10th member, they could not agree. At that stage, the D.E.W, the Muslim Congress and the TNA, and the Speaker was trying, I myself tried my best to bring about. For 2 years, I mean, they could not agree on a name. And what happened? The Attorney General took up the position, legal position, that all the 10 members should be nominated, then only it will be properly constituted. Otherwise, legally, cannot be constituted. So, now they are not a question of government. The 3 smaller parties could not arrive at a single nominee, and that what happened was, Constitutional Council lapsed, then all the commissions lapsed, and we are still in the United States.
I'm going to come back to that, Mr. Minister, because one allegation and accusation made by the minority party is that it is the intransigence of the executive and the governing party that has prevented movement in this regard. I want to, however, touch upon unique almost experiences that you went through during a very dark chapter of a bloody past in Sri Lanka, which is July 1983. Now you have written about this and published some accounts of it. Without going too much into detail, what is your dominant memory from you were in remand prison, you were interrogated, you experienced firsthand, in a sense, the violence, the brutality on the street, but what is your dominant memory of that time, of that period?
I was really shocked when I got the, when at 12, 11, about 8 o'clock in the night, it was announced over the radio and the TV that our party was banned, right, the Communist Party was banned, with other JVP and some other, the Vasu's party, banned. Then immediately when the party was banned, I knew that the next decision will be that they will arrest leaders. So at that time, I was the treasurer of the party. So, I thought they will come to me. And in a matter of 2 hours, they came with armed forces, police and everything. They showed the Defense Secretary's warrant. You are under arrest. So I promptly agreed.
Now, ironically, you went back for interrogation to the office that you worked in when the Inland Revenue, right? Yeah.
5th floor.
So familiar place there, but an
same room,
right?
Indirect place, same room.
So, I mean, I want to actually quote something that you've written. You said that I vividly, and I begin the quote, I vividly remember a question asked of me by a CID officer, i.e., did you try to overthrow the government? And you say, I replied, I have not tried, but I have a right to do so. But I shall not try to overthrow the state. And you say, the CID officer looked perplexed. You go on to say, so I explained to him the difference between state and the government and sensed that he was inwardly enlightened. Now, this is almost comical reading it today, but clearly the situation then was far from comical. I mean, what was
no, really, that now that officer, retired officer, has become a friend of mine.
Right, right.
Now, he put that question. So I knew, I mean, he was then, the inspector.
But now all the time you were being questioned, things were happening outside.
Yeah.
People were being killed, people were being rounded up and burnt and raped. And
that is how the CID interrogates. Suddenly they change the subject and put some other question.
Right, right. So what did you feel that it was a bit absurd that you were being interrogated while the perpetrators were out on the streets?
Yes, but only thing immediately when I was taken to custody, now they put me in the car and on my way to the CID. But the inspector was, I must mention that, so charitable that he said, I personally don't think that you are involved, but we have to carry out orders. So then that gave a clue, saying that, something really, not that we were taken for having killed Tamil people. So it's a political decision.
But you were asked as to who you think did it.
Yeah.
And you quite clearly said it was Jayawardena.
I said Jayawardena.
And what was the reaction then?
The reaction, he got upset and he said, I saw his pen is not moving. I said, don't frighten. I take the fullest responsibility. I will sign the statement. Then, then he stopped it. And he said, right, then it was by about 1 a.m. I think, 1 or 2 a.m. He said, no, tomorrow morning I'll come. Probably I knew that he won't get his instructions from the Arab as to whether pursue on that line of questioning. So the following morning he came and started again.
Yeah.
And then he wrote it out. I said, I won't sign it unless you write it. I won't sign the statement. You'll have to.
But what gave you the courage, the strength to stand up to an executive then?
No, political connection. I was prepared for any eventuality. Really, that particular night evening, I don't know whether I had mentioned it that, there's a friend of mine who was JMO, Colombo, Tamil.
You have actually, yes. Yeah.
He 12 midnight, he telephoned me. He says, my father died of heart attack. Then I knew that, his wife was in the Thurston College refugee
No, this is when Colombo was burning.
Yeah. And he was a doctor, and we had to seek refuge somewhere, nursing home. Then in the meantime, the father also died. The mother stays somewhere else, and he is helpless.